Hello, hello. Hey there, hey there. Welcome into another edition of Between the Lines. I'm Josh Ellis, editor-in-chief of Success Magazine, joined today by one of our favorite writers, Scott Bedgood. He's got a piece in the November-December issue, our Making a Difference department. Run a lot of these. It's on Shante Saulsberry, Sherry Saulsberry, and what they're building, Janice's Women's Center in Arizona, title, Built to Overcome. Rising like a phoenix in the desert. Scott, love the story.
I love the headline. That's great. I mean, that's exactly what Shante's story is. I mean, it was amazing when I sort of asked her, "Hey, tell me about your story. Tell me, how you grew up." I mean, it went on, and I couldn't even include all the stuff that she went through. And every single time I was like, well, that's an excuse to not have succeeded in life. Well, that's an excuse to not have succeeded in life. And she overcame it all and has done so many amazing things. So this was a really exciting story to do.
Yeah, had a some relationship issues, troubled upbringing, that sort of thing. Didn't make any of it an excuse. And I think that the lesson here for entrepreneurs watching us now and who will read the story, please check it out, it is the power of being sort of purpose driven. And so for all the challenges that she's had, giving back to other people, it kind of pushes her along even to this day.
Right. And that was one of the amazing things. Every single time I asked a question or sort of pulled on a thread to find out a little bit more about a situation, I found out like, oh, she did all that good stuff while she was going through all of this bad stuff. The big main sort of crux of the story is that she is starting a women's shelter. She and her wife, Sherry, are starting a women's shelter. And it was driven by this homeless woman that she had met named Janice. And she befriended this woman named Janice. She spent a lot of time trying to help her out. Well, all of that was during this time in Shante's life where she was struggling, and she had just overcome some very significant health issues and all of these things. And she had all the excuses in the world to just focus on herself, and she didn't do it. And then she changed her whole, life trajectory, career trajectory to help other women like this woman, Janice, that she met. And then, Janice, as you kind of find out in the story, Janice disappeared. She doesn't even know where Janice is. So she's doing all of this, not even to help the one woman that sort of inspired her. It's to help women like her. And so, just a really amazing story of someone, like you said, who's very purpose driven and doesn't let the circumstances of life slow her down.
For me, I mean, even in my career, I find that connecting with the person who's benefiting from the work. I mean, everybody's job basically is to make somebody's life easier or better or something in some way. And here at Success, I mean, I'm very fortunate that that's the whole point. And so our writers, I think, feel that too. And anytime like I have a hard day, it just recharges me, right? To think about, there is someone who is reading this, who is going to watch this, who, maybe they get some benefit out of it. And I think that we all kind of have to do that for ourselves to because it recharges the batteries and it makes us work smarter and harder and overcome the tough times.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to that whole idea of start with the why. That works in marketing, but it works in life. If you are like, man, hard day at work, a tough day at work, or tough day at the thing I love to volunteer with, or whatever, if you stop and you go, oh, why am I doing this? And if that why is the inspiring thing that gets you up in the morning and that makes those hard days worth it, then that can make everything make sense. Especially like we're talking about as an entrepreneur, there's so many late nights as an entrepreneur that you're like, why am I doing this? But if you think back to that time and you're driven by that purpose, you can get past those difficult times.
I get asked by people all the time, like, well, to have my story told in Success, do I have to already have achieved 9 figures of revenue or something like that? And her venture, Janice's Women's Center, may never really be profitable, and in fact it's not completed yet. And so The story for us here is about a woman who is purpose driven, and who is doing something to give back to others. And that is her definition of success. And I have talked to Shante. She pitched herself, and there, you can't tell me that she doesn't feel successful for what she's doing. And so really enjoyed the piece.
Yeah. And I think one of the huge takeaways from talking to Shante, like you said, the Women's Center has not been built yet. It's a goal that she's working towards. Like I said, like you said, she pitched herself to you. I've talked to her. One of the most interesting people I've ever spoken with. I have absolutely no doubt she will accomplish her goals. And one of the reasons for that is because and this is another lesson, is she's not doing it just in the traditional routes. She's not saying, hey, let's just have some fundraisers. Let's just, talk to some rich people. Now she's doing that, and she's very good at that. She also started a boutique, which that in itself is a lot of work. But she thought, okay, if I start this boutique, then I can make the profits of this go towards the Women's Center. And so she's just always thinking outside the box, and she's always got a million ideas. And, one thing that Sherry kind of said was like she told me she wanted to start a Women's Center. There was no reason to tell her not to do it, because she's going to do it anyway, and she's going to accomplish her goals. And her son, Tavon, was a really interesting guy to talk to. I wish I could have included more stuff with him in the story, just because he had so many interesting things to say about his mom. But he had the same attitude of like, look, there's no reason to tell my mom no, because she's going to get it done. There's no reason to talk her out of something, because she's going to do what she says she's going to do, which is, that's the one thing you want from anyone in your life, is that they do what they say they're going to do.
Well, I appreciate you writing it, telling a great story. Read it in the November-December issue. And if it connects with you, look up Janice's Women's Center. They're in the fundraising stage right now. Could probably use your help. It's definitely a worthy cause. Scott, thanks for joining me on Between the Lines. Thank all of you for sticking with us for another week. We'll do it again in 7 days. So talk then. Check out the November-December issue. So long, everybody.